Now we are honored to have Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer here in our studio this morning. He's out with a new book, The Authority of the Court and the Peril of Politics. Welcome, Justice Breyer. Good to see you again. You brought the book with you right there. I read the book, and in the book you make a strong plea that citizens should believe that justices are loyal to the rule of law, not to the political party that secured their nomination. You say don't think of them as junior varsity politicians, think of them as jurists. And I couldn't help but think, as I was reading the book, wondering, you describe the world as it ought to be, not as it is. How do you respond to that?
Well, as it is, let's think. The Supreme Court has had many ups and downs. Probably the Dred Scott decision, Plessy versus Ferguson, Lochner, were among the three worst. And they've had ups. I think that Brown versus Board of Education, the end of segregation, legal segregation in the United States, and lots else beside, were among the best. But the point is, and was asked to me by the Chief Justice of Ghana, a woman who's trying to bring more rule of law, constitution, civil rights to Ghana. Why do people do what you say? And in thinking of that, you have to think of a rule of law, and a rule of law means you sometimes follow decisions you don't like. They might be wrong.
And that's one of the strengths of our system. But do you concede that, at least in recent years, the court certainly has had the appearance of appearing to act in a more political manner than rather following the rule of law? I would look at the recent Texas abortion case where the court upheld the ban in Texas. You know, Justice Sotomayor wrote in her dissent that the court was ignoring its constitutional obligations and the rule of law. When you have rulings like that, no briefings, no oral arguments, does it make you question your own conviction that the court is acting as an apolitical institution?
I thought that that was a very bad decision, and I dissented. And that's what I should do. I think the problem is that the public doesn't understand generally. There are lots of cases, probably close to, it used to be that about half were unanimous. It used to be still, it's a third, and maybe count 8-1, 7-2, more than half. We don't trade votes, and members of the court have different judicial philosophies. Some emphasize more text. Some, that was Nino Scalia. Some, like me, probably emphasize more purposes. And the great divisions are probably much more along those lines than they are of what we would think of as political lines. After all, look at Bush v. Gore. Can you think of anything more political?
No, I cannot.
No, okay. So 2 of the dissenters were appointed by Republican presidents, and 2 of the dissenters, I was one, were appointed by Democratic presidents. It's not what you would think of, or I might think of.
No,
as
except
pure
the majority
politics.
was all appointed by Republican presidents, and they said, even as they made the decision, don't even count this as a president, don't even think about it. A lot of people looked at that and said, this is going to elect a president. They're saying it doesn't set a precedent. It goes against what they had done before. That's acting politically, not legally.
And Harry Reid, Democratic leader of the Senate, said the most interesting thing I heard about that case. Despite the fact it affected a lot of people and in ways they didn't like and was wrong. I mean, I thought it was wrong. They followed it. They followed it without guns in the streets, without throwing paving stones, without riots. And when I told that to the students at Stanford, you know what they said? They were, I could just see. I say, I know. A third of you think there should have been a few riots. Really? Turn on your, not this program, but turn on the television set and see how people decide things in countries where they don't have a rule of law. That's a treasure. And it's been built up over many, many years. And if you can read it twice, this book.
I've read it only once so far.
Well, it's short, but you will see the complexity of what I think and why you said political.
Are you worried that that may be at risk, though? You mentioned riots in the streets. We just came off January 6th. There were riots in the Capitol over the election. So what are you worried about?
I am worried. I am worried if people don't understand it. I am worried if children in the schools don't understand their government. I am worried if they don't teach what their government is about, and I'm very worried if they don't participate. If they don't participate and practice working with other people, They won't have trust in our institutions, and that includes yours. And if they don't have trust in institutions, it becomes difficult, if not impossible, to live in a society of 331 million people of tremendous diversity.
I'm going to close with your least favorite question, the question about retirement. What is it important to consider? Simply your health, or who the president is, who's in control of the Senate?
Since this is about the book, I can close with my favorite answer, which is we're talking about the book. I've said that there are many different considerations, and that I do not intend to die there on the court. I hope not. And I'm thinking about them, considering them, and that's as far as I'll go.
Justice Breyer, thanks for your time this morning. The book is out right now, The Authority of the Court and the Peril of Politics, available everywhere today.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.